Welcome back to On the Brain. I'm your one truest host, John, with my accompaniment, Tanner and Anthony. Last week, we got to talk about the pros and cons of the transaction methods used in the gaming industry. This week, I am glad to say we are not talking about video games at all. What is it we are talking about, you might ask? Well, dear listener, settle in because today we are going to be talking about animation. Before we get to that, how are the two of you doing? I haven't talked to you guys in a while. What's been up?
It's been pretty good, man. I mean, just chilling, like big time, you know? I'm actually hanging out with the Tasty Tony himself.
True. So this episode's special. You might feel a little bit more intimacy between Tanner and I, and there's a reason for that. We are right next to each other, so whatever he feels, I feel.
Rubbing legs, as it were.
True, so wise. But I've been good. You know, vaccines coming out more and more. I think some of us have gotten it or are on the list to get it, so that's always fun. And just kind of going through it all. What about you, John? What's new in your life?
Well, I'm officially at my 2 weeks of vaccination, so as friends are fully vaccinated, hopefully I'll be able to get back out. My great-grandmother's actually staying with us right now. She's fully vaccinated, and so she flew from Wisconsin, and it's been really nice getting to see her again because she's one of the few who have been in her apartment since it started alone. So it's nice to see her get out and see family. And then school started back up. I'm taking an intro to poetry class. I started reading a lot of poetry books, and I'm also in an intro to piano class. And our friend Trent is letting me use his keyboard so I can practice. So that's cool.
That's so much fun. That was one of my favorite classes that I took a few semesters ago. It's such a nice break from just academic work.
Yeah. My teachers I'm really happy with. They're very laid back and nice and open. And the final for the piano class is I get to perform a piece of my choice. So I think I'm going to do the theme song from The Binding of Isaac because it's a piano piece. I think it would be really cool to learn. But yeah. Well, with that said, let's roll the intro.
The Brain.
All right. So today we're talking about animation. I wanted to ask you some questions, but first I figured I could give my review on Toradora because I finished watching that recently. Where to begin? The ending is horrible.
Yep.
Well, I guess we should give a spoiler warning.
I think I could keep it spoiler free and in general say that I can't stand shows that don't feel wrapped up at the end. And it's one of those shows that finishes the story in the way that it needs to, but doesn't really wrap up everything that you as an audience want to have wrapped up. At least for me. I know that's not the case for everyone, but I enjoyed it. And then the show ended and I was like, I am unsatisfied.
And I'm not familiar with Toradora. Like, I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. Is it only a 12 episode anime, or is there more seasons to come, you think, or how long is it?
It is,
I think it's like
20 something episodes, and it's one season, but it's the whole story.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still really good if you want
sad.
to watch it. Just
Absolutely. It's worth watching. Just be prepared that you might be a little disappointed or you might not be, but that was all. I had a lot of fun with it. I see how it was popular or how it is popular.
Yeah, I'm always a simp for high school love stories.
Yeah, Jenna is too. And she started showing me another one and I was like, I can see a trend here. And I think that I can see how Toradora works in that sense. It seems to hit all the right marks for that sort of story. But let's get on to the first question. I was going to ask both of you what your favorite animated TV show was and why.
I think we already know Tony's.
Man. No, you don't. You don't know my favorite animated TV show.
What?
Okay. Animated TV show. So I think there's been some shows I've been really into lately, but I think all time, and it's really hard to beat it, probably going to say Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Ooh, that's a solid contender.
All right. Maybe you knew it. Yeah, so it's a classic, probably not much of a hot take, but it is awesome. I love Avatar.
It is.
I've been fan of it for a long, long time, and when it got back on Netflix, I'm just glad to hear that a lot more people are appreciating it. Good story. I think, well, actually, let me phrase that. Avatar's story is not that complex. Very simple story. I think where the show shines is the execution of the characters. Is the best thing about Avatar. I would agree. The show, love the action, love everything about it. I even like Korra. I think Korra's a great continuation of the story. I'm excited to watch the future things to come out from both Netflix and the creators with the studio opening up Avatar Studios for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, very exciting. I think that the inner conflict experienced by the characters and what they go through emotionally really shows the skill of the writing that went into it.
Definitely. I think it's just so interesting that it's a kid's show, not necessarily made for only kids. You could really appreciate the show no matter what age you are. And I can't imagine another show taking over this number one spot for me. It's hard. There's another show that we'll eventually talk about. What was one that was close? Sure, but there's something that has been making me think about it lately.
I definitely agree that any age group can watch it, because I remember as it was coming out, my mom would watch season 3 with me because she loved it so much.
That was what I was gonna say too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
my mother watched it with me.
Finale together. It's so fun. Really, really top notch. If you haven't watched it.
Way back when Netflix was on the Wii, that was the first show me and my mom sat down and binged together, and we watched it I think twice. We went through and watched it, and then my mom was like, let's watch that again. That was good.
So, and I've been thinking about this too, because I'm trying to compare it to like other shows that I think are also really highly admired by me. And the issue with Avatar is I feel like there's a lot of, not necessarily filler, but there's a lot of downtime in some of the episodes. And, it's a kid's show, so every episode has to be its own independent story, with a beginning, middle, and end. And, it is a very enjoyable story, but that is, I would say, one drawback to the show. If you are coming from, let's say, like more anime, Japanese-style animation shows.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to say that would be a pro to the show. I thought they did their filler really well, because it didn't really feel like filler. Although I'd say maybe like one or two. Maybe like the one where he's like having his crazy anxiety attack before the invasion.
Sure, yeah, I think, yeah.
But even then, it's still like, it builds character and it builds suspense, and I think they do filler in a really good way. But it's not really filler because it's part of the show, right?
I guess what I'm talking about,
it carries the story forward still,
is just the general pacing of episodes. Especially in season 1. I think, it's not a hot take to say that season 1 is the weakest of the 3 seasons, but like each episode is its own independent story. Whereas if you compare it to like maybe some other animes, it's like the whole season is a story and they just pace out each episode a little bit more to that. Whereas in Avatar, each episode has to be its own story because it's its own Nickelodeon, run episode. So they have to make each one have its own climax conclusion. But that's just this tell of a good episode in general. So
yeah. What about you, Tanner?
My favorite animated show, it probably has to be Pokemon.
The original series?
All of it. Even now, it's like, it's even more geared towards like 10-year-olds now, but I love it so much. It's so pure, and it's just such a feel-good show for me because there's so much nostalgia in it. but at the same time, they do like an okay job at telling the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what I like to watch whenever I'm like feeling down. I'll just put on some Pokemon and it lifts my spirits.
What's your favorite generation? Both like maybe anime versus like video games, or I don't know how involved you are in like the card game. Like, what's the how do you feel about the generations?
So, I really like Generation 3, which I'm pretty sure is the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. No. Yes? No.
I'm pretty positive Gen 4 is Diamond
Sinnoh,
and Pearl.
Right? Okay, yeah. So Gen 3.
Yeah.
I really love Gen 3. That was my first real game. I used to play Fire Red and Leaf Green as like a tiny kid, but I didn't really understand what was going on. So when I finally picked up... Oh, actually, no. That's a lie. I picked up Pearl first, and I absolutely loved it. But then the first one that I actually understood and had to like figure out all the different puzzles because I didn't, just like waste time by playing it was Emerald, and I absolutely loved it. And then the show, I also really like a lot of the movies from Gen 3, so it's like any one with May in it. The movie specifically I really like is the Manaphy movie, if you've ever watched it. But I don't know, you guys aren't really Pokemon fiends like I am.
I had the first 2 movies on VHS, and then I had some of the later ones on DVD, and I really enjoyed the first 2. The first 2 Pokemon movies are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I loved Indigo League, the first one. And even right now, I have a goddaughter. She just turned 3 years old. But I got her into watching Pokemon Indigo, and she loves it. Like, I got her a stuffed animal Pikachu for Christmas last year, and it was like her favorite gift. And then just recently I bought her like another stuffed animals of the 3 starters, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And like I had her pick one of them, and then the other one she had to give to her sister, and then I got the last one. So that was funny.
Nice.
She chose Squirtle, by the way. She took the one I wanted.
Interesting choice.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, the only complaints I have about the original series is that the animation is kind of weak at some points. Like, it's really not that pleasing to look at. Though the Pokemon fights are fine, but like the actual humans are like, sometimes.
Yeah, but that makes screen capturing them so entertaining. You can get some crazy ascendable images that are just ridiculous.
Oh, and
I think.
The first Pokemon movie, the Mewtwo movie, oh my god, I still cry to this day.
Yeah, it's so good.
Have you watched the remake of it in like with CG?
I have not.
It's like all CG, right?
The 3D
one.
remake.
That's crazy. I'll have to check that out. Well, I would say for me, I love Avatar. It's towards the top of my list.
For sure.
But I would say that one show has trumped them all for me, and I've rewatched it several times, and that would be BoJack Horseman. Much more adult than the other shows we've talked about.
Yeah.
But it's one of those shows where you get to the end of it, and it's a roller coaster, and it's a journey, and you really end up sympathizing with characters and understanding them, but at the same time it just leaves you with questions, and in a good way, and I think it's one of the best shows at showing anxiety and depression, which are things that I think a lot of people struggle with, but it really hits hard with those topics, and not everyone wants to watch shows about stuff like that, so I get that it's not popular. And it's also hard for some people because they'll watch the earlier episodes and the characters are very irritable and not everyone can attach and make it through. It's kind of like how with The Office, like I just can't stand the first season, Michael Scott. It's horrible. And the show is so much better the farther you go, but it's really hard to sit through him in that first season. So
yeah, I've never made it past the first season myself because of that reason, and partly because, like you were saying, how like a lot of people can't watch it or don't want to watch shows like that. But I think it's just because I have too much of an empathetic response, where to the point where like if I see someone in pain or going through like a traumatic experience, my brain empathizes with them so much that I'm trying to figure out exactly how they're feeling before I actually react to it. And so it kind of overloads my brain a little bit, and it's hurt. It's kind of painful and really cringy to watch, rather than being like, oh man, why is he going through this? Oh man, I want to be there for him. Like, that's not how my brain works a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched BoJack. I've gotten a lot of recommendations from it. Someone close to my life, like it's like one of their favorite shows of all time. And I watched the first, like I think 3 or 4 episodes, and then I just kind of fell off of it. But it's something I would want to revisit, because I have heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, I've shown BoJack Horseman to my sister and Jenna, and then I watched it on my own. And that's a show Corbin showed me, but I enjoyed it. So, my next question for you guys: what would be your favorite animated film?
This is a thinker. Why don't you go first?
To include Studio Ghibli or not to include Studio Ghibli. Those films are really good. I'm making my rounds through them with Jenna right now, and so far I've seen Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, Secret World of Arrietty and Ponyo, and I've enjoyed all of them.
You haven't watched The Witch's Flowers yet?
Not yet.
I really like that.
Is that your favorite movie, or is that your favorite of the Studio Ghibli films?
One of the favorites that I've seen of the Studio Ghibli films.
Okay.
Because they do a lot of morphing animations. They do in all the movies, but in this one, like, it's kind of a big part.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say with the Studio Ghibli films, I've enjoyed them all. They all feel like really unique movies and stories, and they're interesting to watch from beginning to end, and they've kept me captivated. So that's why we're still doing it. I want to keep seeing them, and she hasn't seen them all either, so we'll eventually make it through. Now, if we're talking favorite animated film, I would probably have to go to the movie that I've seen the most and enjoy the most still to this day, and that would be Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a simple, short film that's fun to watch. It has great jokes in it that I like, and I love claymation, and the sense of humor is right up my alley. So it's a movie I've seen hundreds of times, and I'll watch it again, honestly, like this weekend. But it's fun. I get a lot of my humor from that style, Wes Anderson's humor. But what about you guys?
Dang, John. Me and you are in different ways. I have not seen that either, so I think we have to have a movie night or something. You got to show me BoJack, and you have to show me
animated movie night and game night. Just play games and watch BoJack, and then top it off with Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I guess, yeah. We could have a good old-fashioned date at this point.
Oh yeah. I can't pay though, of course.
Yeah, true. Fair enough.
I remember the first
buy
time
me a nice
watching
dinner.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. It was with John. We may or may not have been on a substance.
Okay.
of the green kind.
Whoa. Okay.
And I was so confused for the longest time. Like halfway through the movie, then I kind of understood that it is a weird movie. I thought it was like a normal movie that I just couldn't understand.
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird, but I love it. So, what about you guys?
Animated movie. So, I need to broaden my horizons more. Because all I know is like Western animated movies. I'm trying to think of, more Asian animated movies, and I don't have a good repertoire. Besides, so I have 2 that are up in the air for me right now. I have a few, but I want to pay homage to Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z guy, and I loved the latest Dragon Ball movie. It was really cool. It was just a lot of good fan service and just very well paced. And the action was animated beautifully. Yeah, the best Dragon Ball movie to come out in a long time. That's my anime related one. And then more
Hold
Western
on.
ones. My favorite Pixar movie is Incredibles. I think it's just a great superhero movie. It's a great movie.
It's a very good movie. Yeah.
Great villain, great story, great change on it. And that's probably my favorite animated movie. One last one I want to pay homage to. And I just watched it this morning. Tarzan. Tarzan is my underrated, doesn't get enough love Disney movie. It is it's so awesome. You have this guy and he gets raised, by a different family, and it's all about identity and becoming his own person. And just beautiful, beautiful music as well. Love Tarzan.
Definitely. I was going to ask, though, about Dragon Ball. What are your opinions on Battle of the Gods and the movie that came after? The one with Golden Frieza.
Yeah, Resurrection F is the movie you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Battle of the Gods, I thought it was great. I thought it was a good movie to get everyone's kind of pumped back into the movie. Or pumped back into the franchise, I should say. Resurrection F, I saw that one in theater as well. It was cool watching it live in theater, but as an objective movie, it was not very strong. There were some cool moments, but ultimately, I think when the movie started and when the movie ended, nothing really changed in terms of plot.
I'd agree. Yeah, I had to watch bootlegs of those movies when I watched them. Side note, though, I did own a Comic-Con exclusive Golden Frieza pop vinyl with red eyes, and I sold it on the secondhand market for $500.
Damn.
That's the most money I've ever made off of a pop vinyl.
Damn.
That's really cool. Yeah, those movies are definitely a work of art. Compared to the show, I guess. There's some
beautiful.
Freaky stuff in the show. As in freeze frames and stuff. But the movies are just so polished and they're so pleasing to look at.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Tanner? What is your favorite?
So, one, I guess I'll do kind of Anthony style. I'll do one Western.
What do you mean by that?
What?
What do you mean by Anthony style?
You mentioned more than one movie. John was like, what's your favorite movie? Anyway, I can't pick. So, these aren't necessarily my favorite movies, but just ones that come to mind when I think of animated movies. But the Lego movie is fantastic. I love the Lego
absolutely.
movie. Every time I watch it, it makes me laugh.
It's so good. I love the second one as well.
Yeah.
Both of them are very entertaining.
Style, I had no idea that it was CGI.
I know. It was a little heartbreaking to hear when I found out.
Yeah. It was just too good.
It is so good. I mean, CGI or not, it's beautiful. It's a phenomenal movie, both of them.
Yeah, the humor is perfect.
They did something great with it.
But the other one that I kind of discovered recently is a Japanese movie. It's based on an anime series, based on a manga series called Gantz, Gantz. And this movie on Netflix is called Gantz Zero. And if you've ever seen Love, Death, and Robots, which are basically just
so good.
Amazingly animated mini episodes in 3D animation. This is an entire movie's length worth of that Love, Death, and Robots episode, and it's just these people who are teleported into Tokyo and have to fight these monsters, and it's just this hour and a half long monster fight, and it is the cleanest animation I've ever seen, dude. It's so good.
Love, Death, and Robots is a show that I highly recommend. It's on Netflix, and it shows off some amazingly talented artists, and it's really, really interesting. There's some entertaining stuff. There's one about Ohio that I really like because I'm from Ohio. I'll have to check that one out because I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've showed a lot of people Love, Death, and Robots. It was a great show. It's if you like Black Mirror, I think you would like Love, Death, Robots, and it's just so much smaller, bite-sized episodes. So,
yeah, I enjoy that one, and that's a good segue. I think that whole idea of those beautifully animated movies or shows that are going into new territories to talk about Into the Spider-Verse, because that is another animated movie we haven't mentioned that, it is so gorgeous. And it's a great story. It's got rewatchability, and it's a phenomenally made movie.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about Into the Spider-Verse is I kind of caught it, but it was subliminal. But then when it was explained after, like when videos started coming out about the making, is that they animated Miles at 12 frames per second in the beginning of the movie, and throughout his transformation turns into 24 frames per second to show that he's like changing and growing and becoming more mature. Yeah. And I thought that was a really good, subtle thing that they did. Because by the end of the movie, you really believe he's this new person.
Mm-hmm. And you can see it, like you feel it because you see it on screen, and it's something you see without seeing. It's subliminal. It's so good. I love it. So I think that's a good time to take a step back and move on to our new segment, Sharing Time. Sharing Time. All right, what you guys got today?
Well, me and Tanner, like I said, we're very intimate, very close, so we're sharing a drink today. Well, separate glasses, but sharing the same drink. And it is a straws. Hoppy Fig Mountain Point Conception IPA.
Interesting.
It's called Eureka. It's a burger spot here in San Luis Obispo. And for Easter, my parents did a very nice thing, and they ordered me DoorDash. And from Eureka, I got like a nice beet burger and some fries and stuff. And my mom texted me and was like, "Hey, you're probably gonna need an ID." And I just assumed it'd be something, they have to verify it's you that they're ordering the meal for. So I walk up to the door, and he's like, "Hey, here's your food. Can I see an ID?" And I was like, "Any ID will work," because I wanted to show him just like my school ID, just to show him my name. Like I didn't really want to show him my actual ID. And he was like, "Yeah, just any state ID will do." So I was like, "Okay." So I showed him my actual driver's license, and he pulls out like a camera from his phone, starts like scanning it, taking pictures of it. And I'm like, what's going on? And then he pulls out this to-go container, and John, you can see it, but I mean, obviously no one else will be able to see it, but it's like this to-go container for alcohol. I've never seen them before.
Same size as like an IV drip bag or something.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it looks like. And I've never seen it before. And he pulls out this thing, and all just clicked to me all at once. I was like, "Oh my god, that makes so much sense now. It's alcohol." But anyways, I'm sharing it with my bud Tanner today, Cheers.
Very cool. Well, enjoy that. And then after mine, I'm going to ask you a question about describing. You know what? Do it now. Describe to me, without using the regular words you use to describe taste, on how it tastes.
So, it's like walking through a field of flowers as you put it up to your nose before it actually hits your lips. It's a very subtle, sweet smell. And when it hits your tongue, it's like you're rolling down a sandy dune, because there's this warm kind of like rush that you get with the piney flavors that when they connect with your taste buds, it just makes it feel so good. And
I can almost smell the salty water and hear the seagulls.
It's very light, and it's extremely refreshing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I've never quite had an IPA like this before.
Anthony, what's it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, he said exactly what I was about to say, word for word. That's exactly what I was going to say, so it's kind of awkward that he went first. Nothing really else to add. Hey, John, buddy, what's up? Haven't heard from you in a minute. What are you drinking today?
Oh, yeah. So I am drinking a good old-fashioned lemon ginger tea. Lemon? Ginger? Water? Lemon ginger tea. And it's very good. Been drinking more tea lately, and it's a lot more soothing than a coffee for me, because I am very caffeine sensitive. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. And if I were to describe what it's like, I would say it's almost the smell of your mid-afternoon snack that is fresh off of the platter served right out of the oven, or a buttery biscuit that has been titillating your nose particles.
Can I hear that in another sentence, please?
Yeah, it's normally used, titillating your senses. You have to do the finger wiggle.
Awesome. Well, as long as we're continuing on the sharing time, we didn't do any news updates in the beginning of this episode, so here's a good time to throw them in now.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Twitch that much, there's a streaming platform, a lot of things going on in there, usually game related, but not always. And there's one streamer who I have been fond of particularly. His name is Ludwig. He's very comedic, very funny commentary, and just does a lot of random stuff. But he's been doing a subathon, an uncapped subathon, and it's going on day 2627 now of his subathon. So every time someone subscribes to his channel, it adds 10 seconds to the clock. And he's been going for 26 days straight. So he's been sleeping on stream, eating on stream, working out on stream. I think he showered on stream one day.
One shower in 26 days?
And yeah, just one day. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because any day now, I think it's going to happen. He's going to become the most subscribed channel of all time. How it works on Twitch is subscriptions only last a month, and then you have to renew it manually. And the most subbed person was Ninja in 2018, because Fortnite blew up, and he got around 260,000, 269,000 subscribers for that month.
Nice.
And Ludwig is at about 230, 240 right now. So he's really close to it, and I think he's going to beat it. So just a little relevancy in there.
That's cool. Wow. And that's one every 10 seconds, correct?
Yes.
How on earth is he verifying this? Like, is it custom?
Yeah, so he has a timer on stream, and whenever he gets a sub, it just adds 10 seconds to the timer.
Okay, yeah. So it's automated. That's cool. Wow. I can't even fathom like how many people.
Currently he's at an hour and 16 minutes left, and he's been at less than an hour for the past like week and a half. So
impressive.
About 20 minutes ago he was at 5 minutes.
So it just kind of fluctuates, whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a very ingenious way of getting people involved in a way that benefits you as the creator, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I calculated about roughly how much he's making with everything, with all like taxes taken off, Twitch cuts taken off, moderator pay, and just other like charities, and he's still making around 100,000 in 1 month.
Well, what you have to remember too is that it's a lot of money sometimes and not a lot of money other times. So unless you know how much they're making in a year, it's hard to be like, man, he's making a ton of money, because
still, like, most
that's
people
just going
struggle
towards
to make 100K in a year. He's making it in 1 month.
You're not wrong. He's definitely living a lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, luckily
I don't know.
This podcast has been fueling us, so we don't have to worry about it that much anymore. Finances.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start putting the ads in as well, and
yep.
We'll start making some money from there.
I've gotten so many offers to put ads in here, like I don't know which ones to pick.
Yeah, which leads us to this segment. Thank you, Amazon, for sponsoring today's episode.
Well, I know, and like Kemple Fort sponsored our last episode, and that was really nice of them. I don't know if you guys listened to our last episode. You should go check it out. But you just got to be able to take secure banking loans and know who to trust.
Any other updates?
So, within the past couple years, so let me just go back. All right, so a few years ago, about 2016, Oculus released their Oculus Rift, and it was okay. It was pretty good. People mentioned it. Some people had it, but it really wasn't anything that was blowing up. A few other companies started making VR headsets as well, but it wasn't until I think 2 years ago, 2019, where they made the Oculus Quest, which took it off the computer and was a standalone headset. And VR started to explode exponentially. A lot more people started getting involved. It's still not anything comparable to consoles, but still, it's cool to see the growth. But along with this VR explosion, there was a lot of AR hype, which is augmented reality, laying holograms on our actual reality to help us out, as if you were to take like icons from your phone and lay them on your vision. This was done by Microsoft with their HoloLens, and the first edition was about $3,000 for developers, and so really nobody got their hands on it. Then they came out with the HoloLens 2, which was, I think, a little bit cheaper, so some more people got their hands on it, but it was still more of a developer thing because they're still kind of working out the technology. But then there were rumors that Apple would be making AR glasses and call them Apple Glass a while ago. And lately, a lot of leaks have been being leaked on like Reddit and Twitter and other places by reliable sources with actual like finished product looking kind of like renders of what their glasses are going to look like. And so since a lot more have been popping out, we can probably expect to see them within the next 2 years actually coming out with their first Apple Glass. And I am so excited to actually have this because one of their main things, I know it kind of sounds dumb, but it'd be so cool, but one of their main things they're working on is implementing their Apple Maps into the glasses, so you can actually see like the arrow on the road where you're like
where
driving
you need to go
and stuff, so that you don't have to like look down at your phone and you see like all these holograms like telling you where to go. I think it'd be really cool.
I mean, if that is how it works, that'll be phenomenal until you look at that bougie price tag, right?
Yeah.
What's your ballpark guess?
Why do you
how
bring
much
the mood down, John? Why do you gotta bring the mood down?
I mean, come on. How much you think the first edition Apple Glass is gonna cost? I'll say $1,500.
$1,500? No,
their phone
I'll
isn't
cut
even
yours in
that
half.
I'm gonna say
expensive.
lower.
I'd say probably
You gotta remember
around 600, 500 to 600.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know. You got to remember that their high-end products, like their nicer Macs and everything, are like $4,000 or $5,000. So if the technology costs a lot, I imagine,
Don't they have Macs that go for like $1,400?
Yeah, my
They-
freaking laptop.
they have
was like 1,000.
smaller models, but you also have to remember these are like what generation, how many iterations have they consolidated and refined and been able to lower prices for newer models, because that's what they tend to do. So normally with the first product, it's going to be expensive, and then as they make new generations, they get cheaper.
Here it is.
So
How much is an Apple Watch?
that's a few hundred. I think you can get one for like $200.
I'm gonna say the glasses are gonna be right around there. I was thinking glasses are gonna be like $300-400.
I think it's
That's a
really gonna
bold
be
guess.
like.
If it is, by all means, I'd be excited.
I really think it's gonna be you can sell something for $1 to 1 million people, then sell something that's $1 million to one person. So I think they're gonna make it slightly cheaper so a lot of people buy it, and it's an accessory, so they're not gonna charge full price.
Yeah. It's a risky play, though, to assume that their entire base of consumers is going to purchase the glasses, But, I mean, either way, they're going to make money. It's Apple. People will buy
it's
them.
Apple.
We'll see what happens.
At whatever price. Yeah. With that said, let's get back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Well, I have a question for y'all.
Shoot.
I have been kind of getting more into anime lately in the past, 5 months, I'd say. I've been watching anime. When I was growing up, I never really got into anime besides like, maybe Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z. But I've been watching more anime on Netflix. I got a Crunchyroll account. So still, probably the most exciting thing about getting into anime is that there's so much good anime to watch. You hear a lot of recommendations. I just don't have enough time to listen to all of them. So I want to hear from you guys. Kind of what anime have you watched? What would be like one recommendation? Just overall, specifically just anime. I can go first. So I have seen Death Note. That's what kind of got me into anime.
Very good one.
And I did love it. I loved the first half of it, I will say. The first half was fire. I watched the first season of Promised Neverland. I heard the second season is not going too well. I watched Erased. I loved that one too. I thought that one was sick. That was cool. But the main one right now, which is the only thing that could potentially beat Avatar for my favorite animated show of all time, is Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
I am loving this show. Like, I am all over this show right now. I haven't felt this way about a show in a while. But what's great about Attack on Titan, and again, spoiler free, is you have to watch it at least twice. You have to watch it once all the way through. Then you have to watch it again, with someone or just by yourself, whatever. But you have to watch it again to really appreciate all the foreshadowing that the writer and, director of the animated show put into this. There is so much going into this show that you missed the first time around, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I think right now they just finished the first half season 4, the last season, and I wasn't reading the manga, but after the last cliffhanger they left us on, I had to keep going. So I am almost fully caught up with the show. The show's done, I should say. The series is done. They finished the last chapter in the manga. So I'm kind of going through that right now, trying to finish it.
Yeah. Well, I know that's a show Tanner likes a lot too. It's not a show I've seen more than an episode or two of, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd definitely say if you're not sure about it, just watch the first season. It's really not too long, but damn does it get you hooked. I wish I kept watching it as it came out, but I watched up to season 2 when it came out, and then I think I watched the first 2 episodes of season 3. Sadly, I fell off of it because I started Naruto, which consumed my life for the past year and a half because it's really long.
It is, but that's another really good one. Yeah, I do love how Attack on Titan is animated. It's another beautiful show, and it's an interesting concept as well. It's not something that's been done before, and it's refreshing to see new ideas.
Some of the ones that I've watched is the first one that really got me hooked was also Death Note, and that's how I got Anthony hooked, because I knew he would love it. We were playing Among Us at the time, and it was like, Anthony, I've got a deception anime if you like deception games so much.
Ooh.
Another one, season 1 of Bleach was awesome. I didn't really care for season 2, and then I kind of stopped watching. I watched Sword Art Online. Season 1 is awesome. Season 2 is
that's a good show.
Season 3 is it's half and half. But definitely watch Sword Art Online season 1. It's a good thing. Naruto, I really got into recently at my last job. One of my friends really, really liked it, and he was like, you need to watch it. So I did for him. And I've only got 100 episodes left out of 750. So
you're watching Shippuden?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I have not even started Shippuden, but I love the original series. Oh, you didn't watch?
Ooh, bro. Dude, the original is a freaking 6 out of 10. Shippuden takes it up to an 8 or a 9. It's so good.
I know, but there's so much filler you have to sort through.
Yeah, a little secret. I haven't watched a single... I've watched one filler episode, I think. So if you just skip all of it, it takes a lot of it out.
That's good. I'll have to find a list and then finish it up, because I know how this show ends in the manga, and I've read the last books. It's very good, but I'm missing out all of the good stuff in the middle.
That's another one that I like. Watching Toradora. I finished that as well. That's another really good one.
You did finish? Yeah. Other than the ending, of course.
If we had Jacob here, he'd go on for days.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I've seen a couple. I'm not really well adversed in anime specifically, but I did enjoy Soul Eater. It was another show that the ending was a little weaker than I was expecting. But it was a fun show to watch.
Yeah, I think I watched half of Soul Eater. I'm really not good at
it was an
finishing
interesting
animes.
concept. There's just too many. You start one and then you move on to the next one. I'm racking my brain because I don't remember the names of all of the ones that I've seen. There's another one on Netflix that Tyler recommended to me and I really enjoyed. It's a 3D animation one though.
Ruby?
And no, it's like high fantasy sort of, and it's got this lizard guy as the main character, but I can't remember the name. It's been so long. The more you try to force something and remember it, the harder it is to find. Kill la Kill is interesting. That's one that you could at least check out and see if you like.
I watched like 5 episodes and I was like, this is it's a little ridiculous for me.
Ooh,
but I can watch JoJo's for some reason. Have you watched it?
JoJo is another one. That's, the one everyone would be expecting us to mention if they were into anime. That's another really good one. And they just announced the new part. So that's exciting.
Yeah,
Anthony, have you watched it?
I have. So my experience with JoJo's is that I have watched the first part, but again, I may or may not have been sober, is the word to use.
Fully present with the show.
Fully present with the show, and I was just so confused and laughing and just did not know what was going on with this first part. So I definitely would have to be a show I'd revisit if I wanted to gain any knowledge of it and remember it. Mm-hmm. But another show I forgot to mention was Fullmetal Alchemist. Is another show I've been watching. There's 2 different versions of it. There's Fullmetal Alchemist, the original, which came out in 2002 or 3, I want to say. And then Brotherhood, which is the newer one, which is the one that is adapted from the manga, which is the one that people seem to enjoy a lot more. I've been watching the original because it's only 50 episodes as opposed to 100 and something episodes, and I plan to watch Brotherhood, but after I watch the original, might as well.
Of course.
Watch the original is what I mean. Of course I want to watch Brotherhood. But it's another one that also has a lot of praise. Also, another thing on my watch list is Jujutsu Kaisen, is another anime that just finished, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about. Don't really know too much what it's about, but I've been hearing it's a good anime, and it just finished. So something I might check out in the future. But I have, like I said, the good thing about just getting into anime is that there's so much good anime to watch. So I have a long watch list. It'll be a while.
Have you seen any of One Punch Man?
Oh,
I've seen the first season.
I need to finish that so bad.
It's a really fun show.
Yeah, again, I know I haven't seen One Punch Man. Ideas. I know the show I would love, but there's a list.
If you like cooking, there's one called Food Wars about this guy who goes to the most prestigious culinary school in Japan. And it's it's so much fun. And the food looks amazing, and it's a little sexual, but it's kind of fun. Not sexual as in sex scenes, but when people eat the food, they may or may not have orgasms, and their clothes fly off. So
I guess I can check it out.
Of course, as it happens when you eat really good food. I think Fullmetal Alchemist is on Jenna's list of shows that she wants me to watch, so I'll be getting there. I remember she was showing me some of the ones that she wants to show me, and she was like, I can't watch the food ones because they make me too hungry. I think it's true that everything that you could make an anime on, there's an anime for.
It's like Rule 34, but for anime.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we're going to steer hard right from that topic.
There is ping pong anime. There's a cooking anime. There's an anime that it's a sport where girls have to hit each other off platforms on water with their butts. Of course, as one middle-aged man would like to watch.
Yeah, so let's just continue what John's thought was. Let's just steer right from where we're going.
So steering right, Corbin sent in a Discord server, NSFW. You were talking about Mrs. Incredible earlier.
John, I don't really love where this conversation is going at the moment. You mentioned NSFW, then you mentioned Mrs. Incredible. I don't really like the idea of where this is going.
Oh, I saw video like that on this one website. It was like a something hub, something.
Yeah, was it animated?
Hub, animehub.com, something like that.
Yeah, let's just. Anyways,
Anthony, you're getting a little red there.
I'm just not sure I'm comfortable with the energy putting off today.
Anyway, let's segue, shall we?
Sorry, we had to take a little break and all collect ourselves privately. Now that we've gotten that energy off of our chest, I guess it's time to say goodbye.
John, you make it sound a little sus. We had to all take a break after discussing
Privately,
John. Like no, just so we're clear, we took a 10-second break. You know, we're good. We're just gonna wrap up today's episode.
I definitely take longer than 10 seconds to take breaks, but
Okay. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. Sorry. Thanks for listening.
Well, this concludes today's episode of On the Brain. Next week, we talk horror stories at the drive-ins, most unmemorable teachers, and worst places to get caught with your pants down. Don't forget, we love you, we need you, we promise to never leave you. See ya. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Then there were rumors. Intimate. Titillating your nose particles.